So I'm going to give you a little introduction to using Camtasia just because a lot of people like to use it and a lot of people are familiar with it. And many videos back, I recorded a video about how you need to do what works for you, And after this video, you are going to see how I do it, how I use OBS and a 4K monitor, and I capture the audio and video stream of my computer on the computer with OBS, which is Open Broadcaster Software, and then I capture the audio and video, stream of the instructor on a separate camera. And then I take everything recorded at 4K, which means buying a 4K resolution monitor and using OBS to record at 4K, and I edit that down in Adobe Premiere, and that allows me to zoom in and not pixelate when I'm editing. And you're going to see all that in the next videos. And that is like absolutely best practices today for producing high quality content. However, at the end of the day, what is more important than anything is you getting your course out to the world and sharing with the rest of the world your skills, knowledge, and passion. And so that's even more important than production quality. So that's the most important thing. All right, so I'm going to show you in this video, and it might be a little bit longer, I'm going to show you how to use Camtasia, and then in the following videos, you're going to see how to do it the way I do it. But Camtasia is a really easy way to get going, and I'm just going to hide this video of me. Camtasia is a very easy way to get going, and it's an easy way to edit, and you can do it inexpensively. It's $200, I think, for Camtasia. And it's made by the company TechSmith, so let's just go look at that. So here's TechSmith Camtasia. TechSmith Camtasia right here, TechSmith Camtasia pricing. So we'll look at that, $199. And you could get this Logitech web camera, and you can just plug all that into your computer, and you could use that. The disadvantage of using Camtasia is that it sometimes crashes. It's totally crashed for me, and that's really, for me, a big point of frustration and disappointment when I record a video and I really like the video and then I hit stop and it's like Camtasia crashed. I'm like, oh man, I'm never going to be able to get to that heartfelt moment again where I shared some story and really felt like, that was perfect. So Camtasia sometimes crashes for me, and Camtasia does not record at that 4K resolution, which means that when you zoom in, you pixelate. Anyhow, so that's why I don't use Camtasia. But if you want to use it, it's a good enough solution. All right, so I'm going to show you Camtasia. And here I've started Camtasia. When I was ready to record, I'd go File, and I'd go to New Recording right here. And it launches this recording dialog box. And I need to make sure that I'm recording my whole screen, so I choose full screen, right? Full screen, color LCD is what I choose. And I want to choose my camera, so that means that I'm choosing my camera right here. And then this is coming from my built-in microphone. If I had a different microphone, I'd select that microphone. And then I could also capture my system audio if I wanted to capture my system audio. And that's going to allow me to, with my system audio, that will allow me to, get, like, if I play a video on my computer, it'll pick up that audio. Or if I click something and it beeps, it picks that up. So that's how you start recording in Camtasia, and then you just hit record. There's different preferences that you could set, and that varies on Windows and Mac, the interface on that. So there's settings you could adjust and play with when you're doing your settings in Camtasia. When you're all done recording, it comes into this editing panel. So this stream right here, you can see when I selected that, it selected the instructor. So I could take this and make this full screen, which is what I want to do when we start out. And you can see that that's recorded at HD. My Mac is not perfectly 16:9 aspect ratio. So I'm going to go into File, and there's a place in here where I could adjust the size of the output. And so I'm just going to look for that. Edit, Camtasia Preferences, Edit, and Adjust Canvas. There it is. And so I did that a little quick, so let me just do that again. Edit, Adjust Canvas. And I want this to come out as 1920. So I'll go 1920 by 1080. All right, that's the size I want it to come out as. And there's a preset, so I can hit Apply. So now that's my canvas. So I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second. Grab this one, and put it in the corners, snap to the corners, and then bring it down and line it up there. So I'm losing the bottom part of my screen just because the resolution on my Mac is not perfectly 16:9 aspect ratio, which is what 1920 by 1080 is. And so now I'm making that bigger. So now I have that full screen for the instructor, and that's where the video is starting out. So again, you want to make sure that your canvas, when you edit, is 1920 by 1080. And on your computer, you want to record as high of a resolution as possible. So on a Mac, I'm going to go into System Preferences, and inside System Preferences, I'll go to Displays, and then in here, I'm going to go to More Space. And you can see right there, it gives me a little text right there. That text is 1920 by 1200, so it's a little bit more than 1080. And so you just go to More Space, and that jams more pixels on your screen, and you're capturing at a higher resolution. All right, so that's two things. Capture at that high of a resolution as possible on your computer, and then also make sure that when you go into Edit in Camtasia, you go to Edit, Adjust Canvas 1920 by 1080. So now I'm ready to edit, and I can listen to this and see what's happening. So I'm in a slightly different recording. So I'm going to zoom in there and just kind of like start right at the beginning, chop that off. And so I select both, I just kind of click and drag over them, and it's right here at the playhead. And I could go to Edit, and there's a split selection at playhead, which is a shortcut key of Command T. So I could just press Command T on my Mac. I'm going to do that right now. And that cut that video, and I could select those, delete it, drag everything over, and put it against the left wall. And then I could zoom back out of my whole timeline. And what I'm looking for is where I start talking about Amazon. And so there's no way in here to like make that not visible. I have to move it out of the way. But at some point in here, I start talking about Logitech, and I want to show that happen. So it's right about there. And if I look to my face, I could kind of see where that's happening. Let me show you that. So that's a good point. Let me show you that. And so right here, I'm now going to add in a transition, an animation, and custom animation. And I'm going to drag this and just drop it right on this. Custom animation right there. I'll bring it back a little bit. There we go. And then I'll just zoom in on that a little bit and make sure I'm right at the tip of that red thing. And now I'll bring this down in size. And that's good, and I can play it and watch it. All right. So let me show you that Logitech webcam. And if I wanted to change the speed of that transition, I could like just grab that white dot and drag it out. See you, Pop. Have a good day. All right, so now I can look at that. So let me show you that Logitech webcam so that is a slower transition now. And again, this is an example of just getting it done. Just getting it done. I'm at my parents' house, and I recorded that previous video that I added in where I said, just get it done, do what works, way back at the beginning of the course. I recorded that on Camtasia. And now I'm using OBS so I can record what I'm doing in Camtasia. And so that's how you add in a little zoom. And so we could just watch this here and see how that goes. And then that's coming in. And then I kind of covered that link right there, the C920. So maybe I'll make this and just zoom all the way in. I think I don't have to be right on the dot. And I'll put this over here for a second. And let's just see that. Okay, cool. It's put me there. And then zoom back out. And see how it's looking. And we can see the C920. And that's good. And I'm just talking about the C920 and all kinds of other stuff. And so I could actually make this a little bit bigger, right? And that way it maintain the connection with the student, so right to there. And I think that totally works. All right, so I like that. And then here I can look at the end. Get it out there to the world. That's the most important thing. I'm just looking for the fade out on that, and I think I'll do that right here. Right before my eyes go away, so I could select both of those and I could just drag them over. And then I could zoom in, make sure they're lined up at the end. And this one's not quite lined up, so I'll just select that one and bring it there. And then zoom back down. And we have a couple of transitions. So we have a fade in and fade out. So I'm just going to drag those and drop that there and drop that here. And so now we have a fade out. And if we zoom in on that, we can see that happen. And I can make these a little bit longer if I wanted.
It's an important thing.
It's kind of funny how you know, you see that line come through because that line's really dark. So I might, I don't know, do that one first.
Most important thing.
So I don't like either of those. I'm just going to end it cold because of that, I don't know, fading through, seeing that line in the background. And the last thing I'll show you is that you have annotations, which are kind of nice. And so I'll just put an annotation in here. And I could do that like, you know, right here. And one annotation could be, you know, like that. And I could click on that and I could say, this is still a great solution. Great solution. And I could add that annotation in and grab the handles and make it bigger. Make that bigger. And on that one, I might fade that in. So zoom in on that. And let's make it a little bit longer. So I'm just dragging it and go back to transitions and fade in and fade out. Drag the fade in, fade out onto there. And
there.
And we'll move this down just because we don't see it.
And HD Webcam C920. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Like this webcam right here for $62 and using Camtasia. You're going to do.
And I could add one more annotation in there if I want, so I could drag this whole timeline up here. Boop, 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 boop. And right here, I want to add one more annotation. I'll do the thought bubble and drop that right there, and I could drag this up over here and drag that over there and make this bigger. And so maybe if I wanted to, you know, if I wanted this to be in a different order, I could bring this up here and bring that there and then bring this down there. And now you see that this is behind my picture. So that works well for me. I like that better. And then add the transitions, which is the fade in and the fade out. And then make this a little bit longer. And then just have these end at the same time. And change the text on this now. I recorded with Camtasia for years, for decades actually. So Camtasia is a good solution, and now we can see this happen.
Do good enough. And this video right here, I am recording with Camtasia. I'm recording this with Camtasia. So I'm doing that just so you can see Camtasia. And hopefully this video that I'm recording right now will not crash when I'm done recording it.
And so now I'm done editing, so I'm going to save it. So I just do File, Save As, and I save it wherever I'm creating my videos. And so I'm going to create a new folder here in Documents and add to course because I need to add these to the course. And I'll call this, so that's the new folder, and I'll call this video, this is the one I'm editing, not the one I'm recording. I'll call this video Do What Works. And I have to figure out where that goes. So it will have a 00 X, some number there in front of it, Do What Works. I'm saving that. And now that it's saved, I'm ready to produce it. So I want to go to Share, and I want to go to Export to produce it. And Export, it doesn't give me any options. It's just saying MP4. That's great. I like MP4. I'll stick with that. But I could also go to Advanced Export and see what choices are there. And I could choose some of these others. But MP4 is the best one. And then I have some options. H264 is awesome. 30 frames per second is good. You know, data rate 64, 30,000, 256 kilobits per second. So you might look some of these up if you aren't happy with you know, how your stuff comes out. But then I just hit export. I'm going to do that after I'm done recording this one because I don't want to overprocess my CPU. All right, so that's using Camtasia, and you could do that with a Logitech Webcam. And that's how I created my courses forever, for decades, and it totally worked for me. except for the fact that sometimes Camtasia crashes and it doesn't capture at 4K. It doesn't capture at 4K resolution. They might be fixing that. That was the last time I checked. We could check Camtasia, record 4K resolution, because it's been about a year since I checked. Add Ultra HD 4K support to Camtasia. 2016, screen recording dimensions will not stick. 4K in next release. So it looks like Camtasia will support 4K screen recorder and editing, Camtasia 9. And so that's awesome, because that will be a big deal. Search Camtasia 9, and it might be out by the time you're watching this course. Camtasia 9, powerful new feature. Camtasia official store. Let's go there and take a look. Camtasia, what version is it? Buy now. $199, priority online support. Camtasia, hey, I got a discount. What do you know? It doesn't tell me what version. TechSmith, products, Camtasia. Version. Windows history, Mac version history. May 16th, 2017, 9 came out. So 9's out. Looks like 9's out. So that should be able to do 4K now, which would be a great thing, because that will allow you to produce to HD and zoom in. So that makes me a lot happier about Camtasia. And that gets rid of one of my arguments for not using it. So Camtasia, perfect solution. My apologies that this was a longer video, but I've recorded this after recording the entire course. And just a little meta-analysis on course creation. Sometimes you go and you add videos back in to add something that you realize needs to be there, or to update a video. And at the end of the day, do what works and get it done. If that means using Camtasia, that's a tool in your toolbox, which you could definitely use. And you could do your whole course recording in Camtasia with a Logitech Webcam. You're up and running really quickly, really easily. And that's a really simple, easy solution. It's a simple, easy solution. So that's a very strong argument in favor of using Camtasia. All right, I'm excited about you creating a course, and that you've made it this far in this course. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you create and to helping you share your passion and knowledge with the world.